Hello and welcome to my first video here, in which I'll be talking about the new Gran Turismo update, update 1.34, or the May update, which is seeing 3 new cars added, as well as engine swaps in GT Auto, which is finally added. You don't have to rely on the daily workout to get those upgrades, as well as a couple of new spots in Scapes, which we'll look at, and the Ultimate section in the tuning shop, as well as 2 new menus in the cafe, which both revolve around 2 of the new cars. So overall, I'm very excited about this update. It's quite a cool one. At first, when I saw 3 cars, I was a bit worried it was going to be a bit lackluster, but I think it really has pulled through. Anyway, jumping into the new cars, you got the Alfa Romeo, which 180,000 credits is pretty reasonable, I think. This car I know used to be in the older games, which I have played somewhat. Yeah, I'm not going to drive that one today because I think you all know it's quite... Performance isn't its strong point. But anyway, the R32 Nismo is very exciting. I think this is 400 grand was a bit, a bit steep maybe, but that's one of the most anticipated cars. Maybe everyone loves the Skyline. Maybe there's a few too many, but and then the final car is the Greening Auto Company Maverick, which is one of the award winners from Gran Turismo, I think from 2018, if I'm not mistaken, for 300,000 credits, which I think is very reasonable, to be honest, especially when you see how fast this thing is, and how much downforce it can carry as well. It might be a lot of mechanical grip because of the nice wide chunky tyres, but yeah, it's a very enjoyable car to drive, as you'll see later, because I will drive the R32 and the Maverick in 2 little races. I'm also going to show you quickly just the 2 new menus that have been added, one for the Maverick and then one also for the Skyline, the R32 Nismo. And then I quickly wanted to look into the Ultimate section of the tuning shop, which, as you will see, has some fairly reasonably priced, I think, upgrades, which should be able to push more of the slower cars forward. I think it should make a bit more variety, I hope. And also here I want to see if you can do an engine swap with the Alpha. You can't, but you can do a wide body, weirdly. So I quite excited to see what that looks like. I definitely want to do that at some point, once I've earned myself a few more credits, I think. But now we're going to jump into the R32 GTR Nismo, and put it into a little 2-lap race, just to see how it handles, how it drives as a box standard version of the car, which I was expecting it to be quite fun to drive, but as you'll see, it's actually quite an unpredictable car, as we jump into Trial Mountain, which is one of my personal favourites. I remember doing it a lot on Gran Turismo 4, which was the main Gran Turismo game I played before kind of getting the PlayStation 3 and stuff. Yeah, so as we jump into the race here, you can see we're just heading into turn 1 now, and I was a bit, cautious here, but as soon as I went into the brakes, the back end was all over the place. I mean, if you're not braking in a straight line, then it's sending you round. I was having to, turn the steering wheel 1,000 times, it felt like, into every corner and really anticipate what was going to happen. Yeah, so we have a nice little scrap with the A-Class there, the AMG. And for this corner, I actually didn't lose the rear end. Well, the Ferrari did though, as you can see. Yeah, but it's quite responsive to turn in actually. We get a little bump from the Ferrari, thank you very much. But it is quite a responsive car. It's just under braking, it's so unpredictable. We take that nice little shorter, tighter line through there, gives a nice advantage. And the other reason I like this track is because it has such a long straight that you can really see what a car can do whilst having kind of all the other elements of a nice kind of some relatively sweeping corners, some lower speed corners as well. A lot of track elevation as well. And this is a big braking section, so I just wanted to see what the brakes were like as well. And as you can see, we're going into lap 2 now, and funnily enough, it kind of gets worse from here. My driving kind of goes out of the window. I kind of forget the characteristics of this car. As we go into turn 1, you can see I'm already sideways and holding on for dear life. But you know, we do save it through there, and then going through here, I go slightly too wide onto the grass, try and correct it, and well, at this point, it's all over. I was unable to save it there, so I have to get going again. But then, yeah, as we go down the straight again, heading towards that big braking zone, I just, you know, I picked 2 laps just so I can really see what the car can do, and actually get comfortable with it as well. As you can see, now we're just heading up this hill, and I make a slight mistake here, and then I go too deep into there, and then again under braking, because I'm trying to correct, it just sends me around, which then actually leads to me getting hit, which obviously was not my fault. I was clearly entering the racetrack cleanly, and then also hit by the Ferrari once again, which obviously wasn't my fault again. I am clearly the best racing driver. But we go through here, and the record question now is, can we win it? We go slightly wide there, touch 2 wheels on the grass, but you know, it's okay. And then going into the final chicane, I'm slightly late on the brakes, which caused me to lock the rears and spin a bit, but it's okay because we half cut the corner, but you know, no one's who's checking really on an AI race. And then we actually get the Mitsubishi off the exit into the line, quite a lot faster, which doesn't seem correct to me, but there we go, there's the finish. Yeah, so overall this car is, with some rather significant upgrades to the handling, I think will be very enjoyable. But you know, it was quite a fun race, I think, especially given the fact that they crashed and had to come back to first in like, you know, 2 or 3 corners. But yeah, it's quite an unpredictable car. So, but now we're jumping into the Maverick, which I was relatively, you know, arguably more excited to drive. And as you can see, there is a lot more grip with this car. It really does like to stick to the road. Sometimes on the throttle it can be a bit, you know, a bit loose. Want to step out a bit, but it's very fun to drive, I think, and it is very fast. I mean, you know, it clearly puts in the category of Veyron and Chiron, which is behind me at the moment. But this is my 2nd lap from that race, and so, you know, we're just going around, and onto the straight is what I was looking forward to, because once I put my foot down here, it, you know, it's reaching speeds of around 200 miles per hour, which is very enjoyable. Going into the heavy braking zone here, it was nice and stable, the opposite of the R32, which was, you know, all over the place. This, you're really able to push this car, and generally it would push with you. There I make a bit of a mistake, hit the wall. I do not enjoy that corner sometimes, you know. Sometimes I forget that it's there and carry too much pace in, and well, you know what happens. Missed the apex there, a bit late on the brakes, but it's fine. Push it to the edge of the curb there, and going into the final chicane, again slightly late on the brakes, run a bit deep here, and you can see me trying to get onto the power desperately as the rear end flicks out. But you know, overall it was quite a alright lap, and I enjoyed driving the car. And now I'm just going to jump into the escapes quickly and show you the new settings. So we got Tokyo in Japan, the national stadium, which adds some nice little spots. You know, I didn't really, you know, expect this or or know what I was jumping into, but it's thought I'd just showcase the 3 cars, which are, you know, as you can see, there we go. And then the second one was the Lake District, which is not too far from where I am in the UK. And this one, I was excited to see, you know, what you could do with this one. I couldn't initially decide on which image to look at, but I think the cars in this setting look well, quite amazing. And I find it interesting that they put the Yorkshire Dales on before they did the Lake District, which is, you know, possibly more famous. But you know, whatever Polyphony Digital wants to do. But you can see I'm putting all the 3 cars down, and yeah, that's just a little deep dive into kind of what this update has brought to the game. I'm hoping to bring more videos out in the future relating to online races, improving my own driving, because I think there's a lot of areas to improve. I am clearly not the greatest on this game. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you all next time.